Nobody has it all figured out. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tiffany theTILAGO, and for those of you who are new around here, I create videos all about faith, the faith journey, and living in and on purpose. And these last few videos, I've just been doing little chit chats, and so I want to continue that today. So I really don't know where this episode is going to go, but I know you've seen the title or you've seen the thumbnail, and I really just want to flesh out this concept or this thought that, y'all, nobody has it figured out. Nobody has it all figured out. This is a thought that's really been on my mind because if you watched my last video, I talked about how I'm moving back into my parents' house. And honestly, I've just been feeling like I have just been moving backwards in my life a lot this year. This year alone, I feel like I've just been moving backwards. I feel like when I've been talking about the things that I'm doing, I'm telling my friends, I'm like, I just feel like my life is one big loop-de-loop. Like, I just feel like it's not necessarily a roller coaster, but it just feels like I am like roundabouts. It feels like I'm just going around and around and around and around roundabouts. And I'm trying to ask God, like, which exit am I supposed to take? Like, where am I supposed to go? And which, where am I supposed to be? And God has really been reframing and reshaping my mind with that and showing me like, no, like, why do you feel that way? And of course, I know these are, lies from the enemy, because I really truly believe, and I said it in the last video, but I really truly believe that if you are following Jesus, if you are, committed to seeking him and trusting him and following him, then you are never moving backwards. You are always moving forwards, even if you actually move backwards, like physically, or you feel like you move backwards mentally or emotionally. Like if you are following Jesus, and I mean like really following him, then I really truly believe that you are always moving forward, because you're always going into the next season, or you're taking the next step with a different level of, wisdom, a different level of experience, a different level of knowledge about something in your life. And so as you follow him, he continues to light up the path in a different way. And again, you're just never moving backwards. And so he's really been helping me to reframe that and reshape that perspective that I've had of like, I'm just going backwards. I'm just going in a loop. Because if you haven't watched any of my videos, I'll give you a quick rundown of my life. I am currently in a position career-wise that I was in 2 years ago. I had left this position, went to another one, and now I'm back at the same position. I also had moved out. I'm in an apartment right now. And I'm headed back to my parents. Like, my apartment is a mess right now. Y'all can't see it, but I'm packing up to move back to my parents within this week. I came back to Charlotte, which was something I wanted to do, but I had, moved out of this, out of the state, and I've come back to the state. It's just a lot of different things. I feel I'm back on YouTube. I had done this years ago and I hadn't done it for a long time. And then I just decided to come back, or I felt like God called me to come back. And it's just all these different pieces of things that I'm like, am I like in a twilight zone? Like, why do I feel like everything I'm doing is something I've already done? Like, is this the way you're supposed to do stuff? Like, am I supposed to be here, God? Like, what's happening here? And I really do feel like the way that he's been reframing and reshaping my mind is by reminding me of something that I already deeply believe. And that is that there is no season of your life that is wasted. There is no season of your life that is wasted, which means that you can learn something new in every single season of your life, right? And I'm saying that I think that's, the thought that's helping me right now, because I could see this as I could see this all as negative, with me moving backwards, but it's actually almost, it feels like I'm just getting a whole bunch of second chances. Like, how you do something and you start something and maybe you didn't start it out of season. Like maybe you really were following God at that time, and you know what I mean? And he told you to do X, Y, and Z, and then you stopped and now you're, going back to it or thinking about going back to it. I really do feel like I'm in a season of my life where it's just like, he's just calling me back, like back to a lot of different things. And he's reigniting a passion in me for the same, the things that I had passions for before. And he's showing me like, hey, you just weren't finished here. The things that you did before, you just really were not finished here. And so I need you to come back to these things. And so the reason I'm talking about, look, I'm doing like this because it's like, okay, let's bring it all to a head. The reason that I'm talking about this in terms of like moving backwards and stuff, and in the same framework of nobody has it all figured out, is because I feel like there are a lot of you who are probably watching this video right now. You clicked on this video for a reason, and it's probably because you feel like you are moving backwards. It's probably because you feel like you are like your life is a big loop-de-loop, right? And I just want to encourage us all to show us like everybody's journey is different. God did not create any one of us with the same journey. He just didn't. We each were created differently. We each were crafted differently. We each were knit together differently. And I don't think we realize that enough. Like, I don't think we really process that down enough. Like, it does not matter if somebody that you know seems like they're walking the same path you're walking, or seems like they're going the same way you're going. It doesn't matter. Their life experiences and what they're doing is completely different than yours. And so y'all might be walking a similar path, like a perceived same path, but because of how you grew up, the parents you had, the friends you had, the neighborhood you grew up in, the schools you went to, just because of the things that you dealt with in your life, the way you walk the path is totally different than someone else, right? And that is a good thing. I say this all the time. I don't know if I'll ever get tired of giving this example, but I just really feel like it is I just love the way that God has painted this picture for me. But if we were all created in the image of God, which I believe that we are because his word says that we are created in the image of God, and I see God as a diamond. Like, if I just see him as a diamond, and I see him as this huge diamond, right? And you know, when you look at a diamond, it has so many different facets, so many different surfaces, so many different, cuts and things, right? And I feel like every time you turn the diamond, it's like you can't look at the diamond the same, no matter how much you try. Like, even if what do you call it? Jeweler? We're just going to say jeweler. Even if a jeweler is like looking at it with a microscope and they're focused on one area of it, it's almost like the light never hits it the exact same. You just never see it the exact same. So there's so many different ways that you can see that diamond, right? I believe God is the same way. And if we're created in his image, we each represent like a facet of God. Like, he's like, hey, I want you to portray this part of me. I want you to go show this facet of me to the world. And so even if there are two of us who are curves of the diamond, even if he's created two of us to be curves, the way that the light hits each of those curves is different. The way that people will, the angle that people will look at that curve will be different. So you are not going to be just like anyone else. And so you do not need to be comparing your journey or your life or your experiences or anything in your life to anyone else. Y'all, comparison is something that really does kill. It kills your passion. It kills your confidence. It kills your creativity. It kills so many things. Now, I'm also someone who believes that there are a select few people in this world who can actually use comparison as fuel, right? Like, you can compare your life to another and you can be inspired to do something that they've done, or do something in a similar way that they've done it, but still not the exact same, right? Which is like, it's like representation matters. It's like we will see somebody who looks like us doing something that we have, either never thought to do or we've never seen anyone do. But because we have seen somebody do it who looks like us, who came from the same place as us, all those kinds of things, now we're like, oh, if I compare my journey to your journey, I actually can get there. That's inspiring, right? But when we compare, most of the time, when we compare our lives to other people, most of the time it kills. It kills our confidence. It kills our joy. It kills our passion, right? And so we have to remember that no one in this world has it all figured out. And so when you compare your journey to someone else's, you're comparing it for no reason, because even if they seem like they have it figured out, they don't. I guarantee you that there's still areas of their life, the life that you're looking at, where they don't have it figured out. They feel like they're failing. They feel like, they're losing it. I think a prime example of this, and I can't really think of one like specifically in my life, but I'm pretty sure I've got plenty of them. But one that's like a general example is like those times where you are following somebody on Instagram, following somebody on social media, or you just know somebody through somebody, right? Because I don't want to always use social media as the example, but you just are like looking at somebody's life and you're like, man, I wish I could do X, Y, and Z that they're doing. I wish I had X, Y, and Z what they had, all these things. And we, yearn for those things, and we start kind of shaping our life to try to get those things and try to make our life look like theirs. And then months later down the line, we realize, or something comes out that person says like, this thing was actually killing me, or I actually didn't know what I was doing with this thing, or I should have never had this thing. And then what are we supposed to do? Like, you just have built your whole life around trying to get like them in this certain area, only to come to find out that they didn't even like that part of the life, or they were trying to get rid of it, or they didn't understand why they had it. And it's like, we just have to stop doing that. Something I love to tell myself, and I tell my cousins, my little cousins a lot, is keep your eyes on your own paper. There is beauty on your own paper. And so as much as you want to like look around, and as much as you want to try to peek off somebody else's and try to like, get a one up on them or whatever, or try to be like them, once again, answer questions the same way they answer them, or live your life the same way they live it, you miss so much on your own piece of paper. You miss so much of what's going on right in front of you, what God is trying to show you, what he's trying to teach you, and how he's trying to grow you, and what he's trying to call you to. You miss so much of that when your focus is over there. Like, I can't drive straight if I'm looking over there. It just doesn't happen. Right? And so you got to keep your eyes on your own paper, keep your eyes forward. And the way that you keep your eyes forward and focused, like what you keep them focused on, is God. The only person who we are supposed to be comparing our lives to is Jesus. That's it. I will find the scripture that says that. I don't remember what it is right now, but there's a scripture that says like, you compare yourselves to yourselves like fools. And it's like, yeah, why are we comparing ourselves to ourselves? That's dumb. We're all created on the same level playing field, right? But we have to compare ourselves to a king, to our great father, to God in heaven. We have to compare ourselves to him. How is my life lining up with who he is and who he's called me to be? How's my life doing that, right? Not how is my life lining up to the next person beside me? Okay. See, I keep getting off track with trying to tell y'all about nobody has it all figured out. But seriously, like, I just want us to drill that into our minds. Nobody has it all figured out. And I'm going to say another thing that I say all the time. This one, y'all probably really get tired of me saying. But the scripture in Isaiah 55 says that his ways and his thoughts are higher than ours. Every time I think about that scripture, it just it humbles me, because it doesn't matter how much insight God gives you, because I believe that he does want to give you insight, right? He says, call to me and I will answer you. I will tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know. His word tells us to keep seeking him. His word tells us all these things, right? And he wants to give us insight. He wants to help us to live our life the way that he's crafted us to live it, right? Not as a robotic, type of thing, but as a God who loves us. He's like, I want to show you the path. I want to show you the way to have the most fulfilling life, and the way to have a life that's going to glorify me the most. But I don't want to do it as this like dictator. Like, I want you to do it, or I want to show you how to do it because I love you so much, right? And so I think about that verse. His thoughts and his ways are higher. So no matter how much insight he gives us, his thoughts and his ways are still higher than ours. He still only gives us what we can handle. And that includes, he only gives us the insight that we can handle. So many of us think we want to know everything about our lives. We think we want to know all the generations past and why we are the way that we are. And we think we want to know, how our future is going to be, and what our future family is going to look like. What is our future, profession? What's our future? We want to know all these things. But I really do believe that God doesn't allow us to know all the things and doesn't allow us to see all the things simply because we can't even understand it. We can't contain it. We can't handle it. I really think that if we knew as much as we want to know, that it would actually end up killing us. It would actually end up killing us. And I don't know how that would happen, but I do really feel like God is so intentional that if he only gives you 1% right now, then that 1% is all that he believes you need. And it's all he believes that you can handle. And so we have got to start looking at our lives in a different way. That's it. Like, if social media is killing you to the point to where every time you get on there, you're comparing your life to somebody else's life, and you're wanting what someone else has, and you're wanting to do what someone else is doing. Like, if every time you get on social media, that's happening to you, you need to let go of social media, because it's not helping you. Clearly it's hindering you. And you know what? When you're following God, sometimes you got to do things that are unorthodox. And in this day and age, technically not having social media is unorthodox. Maybe you just need a fast from social media for some time so that you can stop comparing yourself, right? Or that's like one thing you can do to, try to lean into this fact. Maybe it's a person in your life who doesn't even know that you compare yourself to them that much or that often, right? Or maybe they do know, and it's somebody who you're like, man, like, every time I'm around them, they make me feel down about myself, or they make me feel like I don't have enough. They make me feel like I'm not as far as I want to be. They make me feel like XYZ. Okay, you need to like figure that out. If that means you need to talk to that person because they're doing it in a way that you don't like, that they maybe don't realize they're doing it to you, have a conversation about that. Or if it's a person who like you don't even really need to be around no more, sever that relationship. Okay. Like, I just really think we have to get more, what's the word? Vigilant. Yeah. But not like, maybe intentional, because vigilant feels violent. So more intentional about, how we are framing our perspective. Right. And a part of that means I'm going to have to let go of some stuff. I'm going to have to push some stuff out that's not helping me to have this mindset of nobody has it all figured out, so I don't have to have it figured out either. Right. And I'm just so grateful for the people in my life who are perceivingly, that's not a word, who are perceived to be farther ahead in life than me. I have so many friends who are, honestly, I feel like most of my friends are married. They have families, they have children. They're doing great in their careers. They have bought houses. They just have all these things that if I were to look at my goal sheet 10 years ago, they're the things that were on my goals list from then, right? And I still don't see them or have them in my life. But I'm so grateful for them because they're so supportive of me and where I am. And they never, ever, ever push what they have like as if it's this like the end all be all. And it's a thing that, has brought them this success or brought them this joy or brought them this anything. They never do that. And it's not like I'm saying like they try to intentionally do that. I just really think God put the best people in my life for me right now. And where I can look at their lives and I can be like, man, I'm so excited, with you and for you and where you are in your life. And so I get to celebrate with them a lot and celebrate their, milestones and things like that. But I also just get to look at their lives and say, you know what, because he did it in your life, because he's allowed you to have this, I know that it's coming from me. Because he has it like right in the neighborhood, because y'all have it, I know it's in my, it's within my reach. Like I'm going to have it soon. And so it's really important for you to have the right people in your life, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say in this piece. And I know I've been yapping. I got on here, honestly, not having a direction for this episode. So I really hope you're getting something out of it. I'm about to end it soon. I see how many minutes I've been talking, but I just really want to encourage the person who is, again, feeling like you're in a big loop de loop, feeling like you're going backwards, feeling like, why is God making you do this? Or why is your life going this way? And you're trying to figure it all out. That's essentially what's happening. You are trying to figure it all out. But God never intended for you to do that. God never intended for you to figure out your whole life. He definitely never intended for you to figure out each step of your life by yourself, right? He never intended for you to do anything within your own strength. He's always, always, always intended for us to live life dependent on him. And so he will always bring us to those moments. This might be why you're feeling like you're in a loop-de-loop. He will always bring us to those moments where we come to the end of ourselves and we have to lean on him. Like we have to find something to lean on. And so like if you're a believer and if you're a follower of Jesus, you better find him to lean on. You better take it all to him. All the feelings, all your emotions, all your thoughts, all your failures, all your successes, everything. You got to take it to him. And honestly, I hope you get to the point to where you take it to him before it starts sending you in a spiral or in a loop-de-loop. I've said a lot, but I really want to leave us with this. The main thing that I have to say to us today and have to remind us of is that God is trustworthy. God is trustworthy. So you can trust him with your life. You can trust him with the plan that he has for you. You can trust him with the steps that he's telling you to take. You can trust him with every aspect of your life. And all you have to do, all he's asking you to do is to keep trusting. Every single day, wake up saying, I'm determined to trust God today. I'm determined to trust you, God, today. What are we doing today, God? I trust you. Where are you leading me? I trust you. I feel like my journal entries lately, well, honestly, my journal entries a lot of the time, I just keep starting them and ending them with, hey, I trust you. I might write, it's almost like I'm writing like David did in Psalm, where it's like complaint, frustration, annoyance, blah, 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 blah. And I'm writing all this stuff. And then I get to the end of it and I'm like, but you know what, God, I trust you. That's what most of my journal looks like right now. And I know God can handle it, so I don't feel any way ashamed or bad about it, right? I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. And so I hope that this encouraged you in some kind of way. I don't even know really what I was talking about a lot of the time today in this 20 minutes, but I hope that it encouraged you in some way. I hope you like these chit chats. Please let me know if you do, because I got them for days. I just pray that God shows you like, hey, his hand really is on your life, and that you do not have to have it all figured out because he does, because you know the one who has it all figured out. Okay. So anyway, if you needed this, definitely tap the like button down below. Definitely drop a comment and let me know that you really needed this and this resonated with you. Let me know your favorite part, what spoke to you the most. And of course, subscribe if you have not already. We love to have everybody join the family. Okay. Again, I talk about all things faith, the faith journey, and living in and on purpose. And so wherever that leads me, I talk about it. And I really feel like God is leading me to just talk, to just trust him with the idea that he gives me and just talk. Y'all, I had sat here and I had written down all these different ideas about, oh, how do I like streamline talking about nobody has it all figured out? And that just wasn't working. Okay. So God said, just get on here and just start talking. I will give you the direction. So I hope that you got something out of it. And of course, share it with someone if you did. And we'll see what happens in the next video. But I'm so glad that you came. I'm so glad that you watched. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.